Ferrari Cup, Event 2, Round 1, on the streets of London. Hello there everybody and welcome to Opafet Gaming. I am the Opafet. We're driving a Ferrari F430 Challenge in our semi-pro special season. We're driving it in a Ferrari Cup event. We're on the streets of London on the Buckingham Palace view. We're doing 3 laps. We're driving during the day with a few clouds up in the sky. We started 11th of 22, and these laps are fairly long. They're going to take a little bit of time to do, but this is a high-octane, high-paced Ferrari race. These guys, ooh, and they push you around a little bit. And after doing that, I'd like to remind you, and myself, that we're driving in Grid Legends. Grid Legends is almost a contact race game. They bump and rub you a little bit, but don't be too worried. Just ignore it and keep going. Because as long as you don't fight back, they usually leave you alone. Every once in a while, they'll try and run you off the track, but you just gotta, take it for what it's worth. So as we're ripping around here, we lost a few places. We're in 13th, but that's okay, because normally what I'd like to do, especially if you got 3 laps and a decent length, take the first lap and kind of get reacquainted with the track and see where you are and how fast you can go, places where you can pass and places where you can't pass. And kind of keep that in mind for the next lap. But at the same time, don't just sit back. Try and move up a couple of places and try and get, up around number 10 by the time you get to the second lap. Because you don't want to wait too long before you start passing. Because if you sit back for a whole lap, then it's going to get really difficult to try and get near the front group. But we're not going to do that. The Opafet likes to go a little bit faster than normal, and we got a few places like right here where there's a good opportunity to pass. So you try and get by 1 or 2 cars if you can, and slowly move your way up into the front of the pack. So we're sitting pretty good. We're in 7th place, and the lap is almost done, the first lap. But don't let that fool you. Just because you're near the front doesn't mean, the next lap it could take you another lap to pass 1 car. Because some of these guys go pretty good. I mean, they're pretty zippy. Well, you watch them go, whoa, and then sometimes you lose control a little bit like that, and you lose distance at the same time. But if you're going to make a mistake, like they say, do it right now at the beginning. When you can still recover from it, because later on you won't. And then the race will be over and you'll be number 6, but we're not going to allow that to happen. So we got to keep with these guys, try and stick with the guy in front of you as close as you can, and then when you get a straight section like this, go by him. And you don't need to go by everybody, but if you can get 1 or 2 cars every time in a section like that, you move up to the front of the pack real quick. I mean, we've only got 3 cars now in front of us, and the nice thing about that is that we can see where they are. And as long as you can see where your competition is, then you know how hard you got to go, how fast you got to drive to catch up to them. If you couldn't see car number 1, if he was way off in the distance somewhere, you have no idea how hard you got to push. So that's part of my reasoning, I guess, if you want to call it that. And the other thing is that I always used to want to win the race in the first lap. You can't do that. Oh, you got to watch out for guys like that. Like I said, in the first lap, you want to take your time, study the track, see how the cars are going to drive, move up slowly. In the second lap, you want to get a little bit more serious and get right near the front 2 or 3 cars, which we happened to do with that one guy's help, of course, because he took himself out. The other thing that you got to watch out for in Grid Legends is when they spin out like that in front of you, that they don't take you out too at the same time. That's why I don't usually like to tailgate too close, and when I do drive behind somebody a little bit closer, I try to go off to one side or the other. Now, the other thing that I like to do is because these laps are a little bit longer, I don't like to be in front. I prefer to have a pace car in front of me. With a pace car in front of me, I can keep track of the guy who's behind me. He's 1.1 second behind me there. And I can see where the front of the race is without having to worry about not pushing it hard enough. Because once you take over number 1 place, the front of the pack, then you are the one that's going to set the speed. You're going to set the tone. But sooner or later, somewhere along the line in the race, you've got to take over the lead if you want to win. So what I like to do is, like, if I can make it to the 3rd lap, pass them then either by the grandstand, because it's usually a nice straight section there, or a little bit later. And then once I'm in front of them, keep an eye on the counter and your rear view mirror. Make sure that they don't sneak up behind you, that you're not going too slow. But you can see that by the counter, that you can see that it's 2 seconds, 1.8, 1.7. That's how much time they are behind me. Now that's not a lot, not very much of a buffer zone, and if I run into the wall or anything happens, they'll be by me. So you do got to make sure once you get into a position like this, keep an eye on the rearview mirror. Make sure that buffer zone between you and the very next car is 1.5 seconds or better, I would say. Drive a clean race and look for that checkered flag. Absolutely awesome race. I really love this one. I really like driving through the cities more so than a track. I think the graphics are just fantastic. You know, when you're driving through Moscow at night with the snow, or you're driving through London, or you're driving through Paris, they're all cool cities and cool tracks to drive through. Anyhow, I really enjoyed this one. I hope you liked it too, and if you did, give us a thumbs up if you like. Anyhow, it's been a great race. Until we meet again at OpenFed Gaming, you've been racing with the OpenFed.